This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Place to Be Wrestling Network fans, welcome to episode 42 of the NWA Crock and Roll podcast. I am your host for this episode, Calum, once again in the hot seat in place of Sean, who is currently out on assignment to try and find the next Crockett Cup host city. He has left London. He is now heading over to the continent. I believe he is in Paris this week, or he may already have left Paris and heading further into Europe, maybe further afield into Deutschland, if he can make it there at some point. Like here, Berlin have pulled together a tasty package for the Crockett Cup next year, so we'll see where that goes. But you do have three of the four horsemen here to talk about the culmination of the Crockett Cup. First off, Dr. G. You made your return in the last episode, and it's nice to have you back in the saddle once again. Yeah,
it's been very nice. It stinks to have to miss a show, but sometimes you have to. And now I'm back, and we hope Shawnee will get back soon. From his trip around the world, as they call it. And we miss you, but Calum, you're doing a great job filling in.
Thank you very much. So you might be missing them. I'm getting quite comfortable in this seat here. Someone who is sitting, I hope is sitting comfortably, because he might be anxious to get talking about some of these matches. Scott Shiflett. Scott, good evening. Are you? I believe you're looking forward to this one.
Yes, I am, Calum. We had episode 41, and that we talked about it, and I was like, I'm feeling great, going over my notes for episode 42 as we had in our pre-show discussion. I got a little hot under the collar. We'll see if that translates. I'm 85% sure it will, but I'm excited to talk about these matches and signal the end of the first year of the Crockett Cup, and hopefully Sean can get us London for year two.
Well, if London does pull off, if London's definitely got the if they pull together as good a bid as I think they're going to do, get yourselves over here. I'll make you feel very welcome.
I figured you would want Glasgow to be the place.
Yeah, the only thing about that is Glasgow in April can be very cold. We've had a couple of hot days, but if you go to London or even Cardiff, where they're doing the big show, Cardiff's got a roof on the stadium. That might actually be better. Sean, turn round to get yourself to Cardiff, and we'll see what happens there. So not much has changed. We'll cover off the administrative side first. Not much has changed, given that we're talking about the same day. But your roll call of champions, as ever, the world's heavyweight champion is the Nature Boy Ric Flair. US champion is Magnum TA. The world tag team champions are the Midnight Express, who we saw go the full 60 seconds in the last episode. The world 6-man tag team champions are still the Russian team. Your Mid-Atlantic heavyweight champion is still Black Bart. National champion is Tully Blanchard. Your junior heavyweight champion is Denny Brown. And your world television champion is, of course, Arn Anderson. So we start off I believe this is the quarter final of the Crockett Cup with Team UWF, Dr. Death Steve Williams, and the man that personality forgot, Terry Taylor, in place of the injured Ted DiBiase, against the Russian team, the aforementioned Russian team. So The Russians are out with Hot Stuff, Eddie Gilbert and crew, again, as they were in the last round. And this already disappointing to see that Ted DiBiase is not out. Taylor, I know Terry Taylor is a big was a big deal in Mid-South, but it's Ted DiBiase. Always prefer to see Ted in the major spots. Nonetheless, it is Ivan and Terry Taylor starting off. Terry gets the quick advantage with a monkey flip and a drop kick. Williams tags in and locks in an armbar, and then does a wonderful press slam on Ivan. There's more arm work as the faces tag in and out, and Doc hits a body slam onto Ivan's arm. Ivan then hits his arm on a missed charge, so Ivan's arm is taking a bit of a beating in the early stages of this one. Nikita is not happy on the outside at seeing his uncle just being decimated. Faces continue to do a good number on Ivan's arm and keep pushing him away from Nikita to keep him in their side of the ring. Smart strategy, excellent tag team work there from Team UWF. Doc continues to punish Ivan's arm with another slam, where he, like a hammerlock scoop slam type maneuver. Terry Taylor fights in, but Ivan manages to fight out of the constant arm work, but misses an elbow, and Team UWF are right back onto the arm work. Ivan finally manages to make a tag to Nikita after giving Doc an eye rake, and then you've got a face off between Doc and Nikita, who you're getting some flexing from both of them, dueling flexing, as the match sort of moves into the next phase. Big USA chant from the crowd. Doc tries to take Nikita down with some running shoulder blocks, but Nikita doesn't move. But then Doc pulls out a lovely big man drop kick, which sends Nikita to the outside. We do get a test of strength, which was slightly different from a couple of the test of strengths that we had in the last one. At least you've got two big burly guys that are doing it. Compared to test of strength in the last episode. There's another standoff. The heels take over and take turns on working over Dr. Death. Doc manages to get the upper hand at one point. He lifts Ivan up to the top rope just to slam him off, just showing his power there. Ivan makes a comeback by hitting Doc with a neck breaker, and Nikita comes in and takes over with a front face lock. Ivan is tagging in and out, but is hit with a mean power slam from Doc, who then tags in Taylor, who continues just to work over Ivan. Ivan is taking an absolute shit kicking at this point. Nikita is tagged in, takes Taylor down with a slam, and then throws him out of the ring. And Ivan then picks up Taylor to promptly throw him into the rails. Nikita then drops Terry throat first onto the top rope, but Terry makes a comeback, manages to get a 2 count off of a cross body. We are 19 minutes into this match, and Nikita locks in a bear hug. Well, Dr. Death tags in, but the ref doesn't catch it as we're getting close to the end here. Ivan comes off the top rope for a 2 count. We get a knee drop. We get some knee drops and a small package from Terry Taylor for a 2 count as the bell rings, just as Nikita is hitting Terry with a Russian sickle. To end this one. This is almost like mercifully ends this one. Doc gets his heat back by kicking some Russian arse after the match. Sorry, Eddie Gilbert takes out Terry Taylor on the outside, and it just all breaks down from there. So the heels get their heat back by beating up the faces after the bell rings. This is not what I was hoping for. When you've got Dr. Death and Nikita in there, you're hoping for some more big man stuff. This match may have helped if Ted DiBiase was in instead of Terry Taylor, but Terry Taylor certainly wasn't the reason why I wasn't getting into this one at all. it did not need to be that. Of all the matches that could have been a 20-minute draw, this match was not the one I would have been higher on my list to do. This match could have been so much more, but it ended up just being quite boring, to be honest. So difficult to rate. Go a 2 on it. I'm still like I'm between ratings on this one. It was very difficult for me to pin something down. So I'll just go with the consensus. So I know that somebody's desperate to go, so we'll just keep that one in the holster just now. We'll keep that one in the barrel just now. Dr. G, what are your thoughts on this one?
Way too long.
Yeah.
That was my big notes on this. Way too long. A lot of the test of strength and all that stuff just gets boring, especially in a tournament where you know you're getting so many matches. I just on paper it looked like it could have been a better match, even though we know the Russians are limited. Steve Williams is somewhat limited, but I thought it'd be better than this. And like you said, out of all the matches for a draw, I wouldn't have picked this one. So I went 1 3/4 stars. I mean, it wasn't the worst match I've ever seen, but it was definitely wasn't keeping my attention the way it should have been. And I'm probably being very nice with the 1.75 stars, but I'll stick with that just because, it wasn't absolutely horrendous. It was just too much of the wasting time. It was like, I don't know, it just was driving me crazy, to be honest with you. And I think it was driving the crowd crazy as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those ones that's did it need. They set out, and it was one of these ones that you can tell very, very quickly that this is not going to be short. If there's going to be a time limit draw, this is the one that it's going to be. But picked the wrong guys to do that. So I know you've been waiting on this one. You've been waiting on this one for a while, Chef. What are your thoughts on this one, sir?
Well, I'm going to go over the positives first. I did love how Nikita and Doc had a test of strength, and both did not back down from each other. I thought that was pretty badass. And you're right, Doc did have a nice power slam, and it was shocking that Terry Taylor was the one with the hot tag. With that, and also at the start of the match when Doc was trying the shoulder blocks and he couldn't take Nikita off his feet, so he drop kicks him out of the ring. That was sort of just like what we had just seen with Ronnie Garvin and Rick Steiner. So, like, if I'm seeing this and I'm like, really, are we doing this again? Imagine how the crowd feels. But and then we got real stupid with Nikita putting Terry in a bear hug with 1:30 left, and then there was no drama of Terry trying to get the pin or Nikita. Like, Terry kicks out at 10 with 10 seconds left, and it's just like, okay, let's start battling. And then we get the first of what many fuck finishes we will have on this episode tonight, where it goes to a draw. Can you tell who's booking? It's the American Dream, baby. So I went 2.5 for this. I did enjoy some of it, but like, the first of many fuck finishes we're going to see tonight is so upsetting. I do love how Doc beat up everyone after the match, and then the Russians beat up Doc. It keeps both strong. It makes me I may be sick for saying this, wanting to see a Nikita versus Doc match. It could be 5 to 10 minutes, but I would be down to see that.
Yeah, that would be quite a cool match if they booked it the way they did Brock Goldberg at WrestleMania 33, the one in Orlando, where it was just them just clubbing each other and beating on each other for 5 minutes. Give me that every day. But just looking through the card for both shows, if you had gone to the afternoon show, this was match 18 of 23 that you would see.
Oh my God. Yeah. So, WWE WrestleMania's never got that bad in their 9-hour phase. This
match was up there. Now, I don't know if he was still with us at the time, but if he was, I can see Dusty being the reason why The Undertaker and Shane McMahon went 32 minutes by booking this match in 18 of a 23 match card. Baffling decision. Absolutely baffling decision. However, we will move on. Now this is going to be a big one. It is the Road Warriors versus the World Tag Team Champion Midnight Express. Big time match here as we get World Tag Team Champions against the Road Warriors. So it's the first time that we've seen these two teams face off. First of many, hopefully, as we go through. The match starts off with Dennis Condrey, who getting nailed by an elbow by Animal, following a crisscross. There's a shoulder block and a drop kick sends Dennis to the outside, and Hawk is tagged in. Sorry. Both Midnight Express try and outmuscle him, but Hawk is just proves too much as he pushes them off and clobbers them with an excellent double clothesline that the crowd really enjoyed. We got a Dennis Condrey pile driver, which Hawk in typical Road Warrior fashion completely no sells. To the point where Bobby Eaton was too scared to tag in, so he jumped off the apron. Eaton does not want any part of Hawk after that. Eaton eventually tags in, but bails outside as Hawk goes for the clothesline. Then, unfortunately for him, intercepted by Animal, who gives him a press slam back in, and Hawk nails him with a clothesline. Just excellent stuff from both teams here. There's lots of stalling from the Midnight Express as they're trying to figure out what to do. They can't quite get the upper hand on the Road Warriors. Dennis Condrey finally gets a body slam in, and they go for the rocket launcher, but Hawk stands up, catches Eaton, and slams him. He then does a shoulder breaker, tags an Animal. You get a double backdrop and a drop kick, and the Midnights both bail to the outside again. Dennis is the one that comes in. They try and do some double teaming on Animal, as Condrey is taunting Hawk. The ref is then, which forces the ref to try and keep Hawk in the corner. Animal gets a power slam, runs the ropes, but is hit with the racket as he's hitting the rope by Jim Cornette on the outside, and the Road Warriors, the Midnight Express, as a result, are disqualified, and the Road Warriors advance. The Midnight Express continue to attack Animal until Hawk runs in, and the Midnight Express bail. This match was only about 9 minutes, give or take, but it was had a nice through line where the Midnight Express couldn't quite get or I didn't know how to get the upper hand on the Road Warriors. They were at a loss. So basically just gave up. It was we've got nothing else to do but get disqualified and try and leave intact. It would have been nice to see what they could have done with a bit longer, but absolutely fine for what it was, and then it leaves you open as well to do Warriors and Midnight Express further down the line. So 2 stars for me. Absolutely fine. Wish it was a bit longer, but for the time that they had, I think they made the most of it. So go to Dr. G first on this one. What are your thoughts on this one?
I went 2.5 stars, and that's probably because I'm just a big Road Warriors fan. But I agree. Now here, I would have given more time to this match rather than give 20 minutes to the other match, to be honest. But
yeah, absolutely.
I thought that the Road Warriors worked pretty well with Midnights, and again, I understand we don't like some of the finishes, but for this one, I don't have a problem with this finish because this is a feud that's going to take place in Crockett. It keeps the feud going, and it doesn't totally make the Midnights look like they can't be in Road Warriors League, even though they're not. But they leave and they're unscathed, and the Road Warriors advance. And I just love the aspect of Jim Cornette. I mean, the Midnight Express is good, but without Jim Cornette, they're not great. and he's just such a great aspect to that team because he's the one that he's the one you really want to beat up more than you want Condrey and Eaton. So it's just good stuff. I love watching these two teams go at it, and we'll probably see more matches over the next few years between these two. But 2.5 stars. I enjoyed it. So like I said, compared to that other match, wow, I really just was tuned in the whole time on this. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what Scott says. He might disagree with me because of the finish, but I enjoyed it.
No, yeah, night and day compared to the last one. But Scott, what are your what's your opinion on this one?
Well, we're 2 for 2 on fuck finishes, but I did enjoy this match. I want to see more of the Road Warriors of Midnight Express, like you said, Dr. G. Like, oh my goodness, I know shortly we should be getting quote unquote the new Midnight Express, but just seeing Hawk like showing off strength and taking out both Midnights, and like Animal back presses eaten into the ring, which was body presses eaten in the ring, which was amazing. Where Hawkman throws him out and Animal then clotheslines him was an amazing sequence. I really liked that a lot. And then we had a nice shoulder breaker from Hawk, and then the Road Warriors was just in domination mode. And also, I don't know if you guys heard this because we talked about this pre-show. There was no commentary for any of these matches, so we could hear everything that was being said on the outside, and you could clear as day hear Cornette screaming "fuck you" to a fan. So it's just amazing. Like I would have had the Road Warriors win. Go over the tag team champs. I know they didn't do this back then, but then have like this carry on to, what we watch and have them start challenging for the titles. I'm not sure if they go this route, but I would like to see more. And I went 2 3/4 on this.
Oh, you went higher than me. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Nice.
Excellent. So despite the finish, we get the shift seal of approval on this one. Hopefully that can continue into the next match. So 2 of our favourites from the last episode, and then a few episodes now, we have the Fantastics against the Sheepherders. Now this is a match that got a lot of love in the recent PTB and Stretch project, one from 2 years ago where we did last year, where we did the best WCW match of all time. So I'll run through it, and then we'll just get everyone's thoughts on it. So before the match, Bobby Fulton sings the Pledge of Allegiance to the Sheepherders' dismay, and immediately all 4 are in the ring. It all breaks down, and the Sheepherders are knocked out of the ring with Julian dropkicks. We have Bobby Fulton gets worked over early doors with some punches and turnbuckle shots. Fulton gets a leg toss off and drop kicks both Sheepherders to rebound out of it. And Rogers adds one more drop kick just for the hell of it. Tommy's tagged in and gets a hop and sunset flip on Luke for 2. Later, Bobby gets back in the match and gets an atomic drop on Luke, who collided with Butch on it and knocks Butch off the apron. Butch tosses Bobby outside, and they're back in the ring and they fight, and the other 2 join in, and we've just got a massive brawl going on. The ref is dealing with Tommy. Jack Victory comes in, stomps on Bobby Fulton behind the referee's back, and Luke throws him face first into the post to bust Bobby Fulton wide open. This is where the match takes a turn. The Sheepherders going for the kill on Bobby Fulton, including biting him, who by this point is an absolute mess. He's trying and failing a few times to get the tag. There was a cool, there was a very, very nice desperation spot where Fulton is doing some sidekicks to try and get some time to recoup and hopefully get a tag. A tag is made, but in true NWA fashion, some more referee bullshit. The referee didn't see it because the ref, and whilst the ref is arguing with Tommy Rogers, Bobby Fulton manages to throw Luke into the flagpole that Butch had held up, and eventually does get the tag. Rogers comes in, unloads on Luke, who is also just a bloody mess. All four are in the ring. The cameraman gets taken out in the chaos as Bobby Fulton is thrown into him. The ref ends up taking a bump as well, and all four of them are now just beating the hell out of each other. Butch and Victory throw Bobby Fulton in at the post once again. Butch then takes the flagpole into the ring and hits Tommy Rogers with it. He then goes to swing again on Rogers, but Fulton ends up pulling him down. Fulton holds Butch and Tommy grabs the flagpole and gives him one right between the eyes, and they clock Jack Victory as well. Everyone is now bleeding. The bell rings as they all continue to just brawl. The referee's lost control and has decided to disqualify both teams. But excellent. It's just wonderful. A really great brawl. The ref. Look, you just get the visuals of the ref just getting taken out by Luke. This was everything that the crowd wanted. They were like they were here for it. Yeah, it was just I'm lost for words at this. Meltzer at the time said it was a match of the year candidate. He gave it the full 5 stars for this one, and you know, some might say it's maybe not that good. Others, as I say, it got a lot of love during the GWCW ballot. So it's one of these ones you can I can certainly see why it was so highly regarded. But yeah, double DQ. It's the last we'll see of both of these teams on this one. But I'm hoping Sean has got some more of this lined up for us. I've gone 3.75 on this one. So we'll start with Schiff on this one. What are your thoughts, good sir?
I love this match. Fantastics were amazing. It's just God. And one thing I noticed, a slight thing, the Fantastics changed their gear from what they wore for the earlier matches and for now, which I loved. All four just battling, double. All four are bleeding. I just loved it. You described it perfectly, Calum. Like go out of your way and watch this match. This is how good it is. I loved how the Sheepherders were attacking the Fantastics with the flag. And then they turn around and they start beating the Sheepherders and make them bleed. Oh, God, it's just awesome. And I love there was a missed tag where the ref missed the tag and had to send it back. I love that when it's used to perfection in tag team matches. It was great. We're 3 for 3 on crappy finishes, but I look past that. I went 4.5 stars on this.
Excellent. So wow. high praise from Chef once again. Again, in spite of the finish, would you have, if there was a definitive winner, would you have gone the full 5?
Yes, I would have won a whole 5.
So there you go. Do it.
It would have been easy. But the third DQ or time limit draw on the road just kills it for me.
Yeah. Of all the matches though, with the finish, I think this one more than the previous two. Maybe the last one, but certainly this one more than the first one. Certainly deserved to have the bit of the dodgy finish, just given how the match went beforehand. Dr. G, what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, one thing I'm learning about is the Fantastics, because so many great tag teams at that time kind of get overlooked, but they really could put on a match. And this, you look at this Fantastics versus Sheepherders, you had a little bit of everything. That's what I liked about the match, is the fact, I like to have a match with blood when it means something, when it's part, not I don't want to see every single match I watch has blood in it. This one, the sheep herders, that's kind of their game. So, okay, the first match that they wrestled in that we saw, they didn't have it. This one they did. And this one was just, I mean, how could you not be glued to your seat watching this? And just watching Bobby Fulton outside the ring, and he's kind of dazed and he's falling all over the, you see like the blood all over the railing outside the ring. I mean, just good stuff. I love it. Just a good old fashioned NWA match. I went 4.25 stars on it, and I probably, like you said, I guess you could go 4.5, just like Shifted. I mean, I would have given it 5 stars had the ending not, the double DQ, but that they knew who they wanted to win the tournament and everything. But man, I would have loved to have seen one of these teams move on in the tournament, because wow, this match was great. I mean, this is definitely, I mean, I don't want to ruin it for everybody, but this was definitely my match of all the match, the best match of all the matches that we're going to talk about tonight, because it just,
I agree, Dr. G.
It's just one of those matches that I'm actually probably inclined to go back and watch again, probably tomorrow morning when I'm working again, and watch it, because I really enjoyed this match. I really did. I would have loved to have had some announcing on this. This would have been, I would have loved to have a little JR, vintage JR on this match.
Or could you imagine David Crockett doing this one?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, he'd have a
stroke out moment. Stroke, I think, on
unbelievable. What did you rate it as, Dr. G?
I did 4.25.
4.25. Well, do you know what? I think I'm going to, and you were 4. Were you 4.5, Chef?
Yeah, I was 4.5.
Yeah, so I'm going to. I've now, having listened to you guys gush about it as well, I think I've underrated it. I'm going to implement a ruling here as since I'm in Sean's hot seat, and I'm going to up mine to 4.25 as well. I don't want to be a complete outlier by having mine so low compared to you guys, because this was excellent. Comes highly recommended from the NWA Crock and Roll podcast. Please, if you do nothing else, after you listen to this, or even take a pause and pause the podcast just now and go and watch this match, because cannot speak highly enough of it. It's
one of those that would actually be a cool thing to actually do a live watch and watch it and talk about it with a group of, just even if it was just of us, just because it was so one of those matches that you only see those again. How many times have we rated matches in the 4s since we've been doing this? Not many.
No.
So, I mean, it's definitely probably one of the best matches we've seen in the 41 episodes that we've been doing, or this is our 42nd.
Yeah, I can't think of many that I've rated above 4. Magnum and Tully at Starrcade. I think the Russians Rock and Roll Express match from Worldwide, and I think one of the Flair Garvin ones, but there's not many. And this one deserves to be on that. This one deserves to be on that pedestal up there. So we move on from that. That excellent contest to the last quarter final of the Crockett Cup. We have Giant Baba and Tiger Mask against Ron Garvin and Magnum TA. So this one starts out with Garvin and Tiger Mask, who they tie up and trade offense. Garvin gets a half crab in. And it was very noticeable that there was lots of blood stains on the mat, in nice typical classic NWA fashion, where the blood soaked mat. Magnum comes in, and we get a headlock takedown. Tiger Mask gets out of that and makes the tag to Giant Baba. Baba comes in and locks in an arm lock, and he actually drops down to the mat, which made it look like a nice arm drag, look a small bit of athleticism from Giant Baba, which I think, if I remember correctly, was the in the Crockett Cup spotlight we had for these two was one of the very few offensive moves he was able to do. Garvin pulls Baba back into the corner, and now Magnum TA is tagged in, and he works over Baba with an arm lock, but is thrown into the rope. They throw into the ropes and is chopped down viciously by Giant Baba. Tiger Mask is dropped in, and he starts getting some nice offense in, a drop kick, body slam, elbow, but TA slows down and gets a suplex in. To take Tiger Mask down. Tiger Mask then tags Baba back in, who locks in a front face lock on Magnum. That is a somewhat of a botched neck breaker before Tiger Mask is tagged back in with another nice drop kick and another front face lock. Magnum lifts him up and does like an inverted atomic drop. Giant Baba is back in and gets there's a cradle for a cradle for a couple of 2 counts. Baba then takes Magnum into his own corner for the tag to Garvin, which didn't make much sense. But Garvin takes full advantage of the opportunity and comes in and just starts chopping away on Giant Baba until Baba gives him some chops of his own. It breaks down and all 4 men end up in the ring. Giant Baba throws Magnum into the corner, but Magnum's able to reverse it, and Tiger Mask ends up colliding with Giant Baba. Garvin chop blocks Baba's leg, which he no-sells. However, he doesn't have the chance to no-sell Magnum TA's lovely drop kick, and he stumbles backwards over Garvin. Tiger Mask comes in for a body press on Garvin, who manages to escape that. He tags in Magnum, who hits a drop kick and a senton. Losing track of my notes here. Magnum hits a body press, there's an attempted body press on Magnum, who turns it into a sloppy belly to belly for the 3. It was a bit like Baba and Tiger Mask's match for the first one. In the previous round, it was just a bit disjointed at times. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. I would say it's probably a gentleman's 2, if anything. But Garvin and Magnum progress to the next round. So we will start with who started that one. So I think it's Dr. G to begin this one.
I just can't get past Baba. I'm sorry. He's just horrible to me. That's just all I write in my notes. Just he's so slow in plotting and just doesn't go with the rest of the other 3 guys that are in this match. Again, because the other 3 guys, the match is not a total dud. So I'll give it 2 stars for that aspect. But I guess I just got to be more critical of Baba. I mean, I just don't get it with him. I don't get the attraction of it. I mean, yes, when Andre got in his later years, he was a little rough around the edges, but at least Andre could be entertaining, as a big guy. But this guy is just so awkward. I mean, again, it reminds me so much of Giant Gonzalez. That's all I could think of when I think of Giant Baba. I mean, but because of TA, Garvin, and Tiger Mask, and I would like to see more Tiger Mask, I guess, probably with a better partner. So that's why I want 2 stars on it.
I think Baba's sort of mystique and draw is probably best kept to Japan. I think outside Japan, there's no. I think people struggle to get it.
Japan is a very stiff. They work very stiff over there. They are into a certain type of match, and I just don't feel like he was the one that would give it to them. But I mean, I guess you got to have a little bit of everything like you do over here.
Yeah, I there must be something about him that maybe we're getting. But certainly, yeah, doesn't translate from Japan when he goes overseas. Or certainly not for us anyway. Chef, what are your thoughts on this one?
It was a match. They had 4 wrestlers out there and a ref, and it was in the ring. I just went gentlemen's 2. Like, Tiger Mask was like the MVP of this match. I liked how he had like a cannonball dive from him to TA, which I thought was cool. The end was kind of sloppy, but it was what they were going for was really nice. If they would have hit it, it would have been awesome. It would have been like an RKO out of nowhere with TA catching Tiger Mask, who jumped off the top rope with the belly to belly. It would have been nice, but basically what you said, both you guys said about Baba. It's like he's working in slow motion, and like nothing was really happening at all when he was in the ring. But like I like TA and Tiger Mask going back. I went 2 2.25 actually.
Yeah.
So here you go. Confirmed Schiff is the resident Giant Baba Mark on the NWA Crock and Roll podcast.
Yes,
with that 2.25. That is you. So we'll get that. We'll tpublic.com. Schiff is a Giant Baba Mark on a Crock and Roll t-shirt for you.
2.25 star man.
So that is us. Finished the quarterfinals of the Crockett Cup. For those keeping score, 2 of the quarterfinals actually finished with neither team progressing. So we move on. We do not have any semi-finals, so we just move on to the matches in between. So first off, for the Mid-South crowd, we have a UWF or Mid-South North American heavyweight championship match between the champion Jim Duggan and his challenger Dick Slater. Pritchard announces that the finals will be the Winnow semi-finals. The finals of the Crockett Cup will be the Road Warriors versus Magnum TA and Ron Garvin. And the crowd the crowd cheers loudly as Dick Slater and Hacksaw Jim Duggan make their way to the ring. Duggan gets the first knock on. He gets the first punch onto Slater as we start the match, and then he begins just to unload in the corner and eventually hits Dick Slater with a rather sloppy clothesline. Duggan then locks in a headlock and lets off a trademark hole. There's an elbow to the back of the head on a throw into the ropes, and then he elbows Slater when he's laid out. More punches and follow up after that. Slater finally gets a bit of respite. He tosses him out of the ring, and then follows that up by throwing him out onto the railing. And now Dick Slater takes control with some elbows and some kicks, and before locking in a rear chin lock. Duggan manages to escape and chases Slater around the ring and gets hit. But then Slater takes over as he nails Duggan when he's coming back into the ring, and gets a 2 count off of a neck breaker. Another chin lock is then locked in. As Slater is heavily breathing. I think he's breathing out of many places just to try and he's sucking wind at this point. There's a falling headbutt and some more punches from Duggan. From Slater. Duggan then gets back in control with some punches and a slam and a knee drop for 2. There's an atomic drop, which is then no-sold before Dick Slater hits an elbow for another 2 count of his own. Slater then stomps on the ref, causing a random fan to find it rather hilarious on the footage. Duggan tries to charge into the corner, but only eats some turnbuckle. Slater goes up to the top for an elbow drop, and that only gets a 2. There's a pile driver attempt that is reversed, and Duggan is tied into the ropes by Slater. The ref is trying to pull him off as Slater shoves the ref before he turns round, only to be hit by a tackle by Duggan for the 3 count. This wasn't great. I personally didn't enjoy it. You hear a lot about, or I've heard a lot about Duggan being Mid-South Duggan being a different animal than what you see. And much like the sheep herders, he was sort of watered down when he got to the WWF. But I was expecting a bit too much of him. He is still Jim Duggan at the end of the day, regardless of his character. Dick Slater, I've seen better of, and I was expecting a wee bit more of, but this was not great. It was in fact, it wasn't even good. 1 1/4 for me. I did not enjoy this.
1 1/4?
Did not enjoy this one bit.
That's too high.
Okay, right. We'll start off with Schiff on this one.
This match was bad. Like you said, this was a 10-minute match. They have 2 headlock Adun spots in this 10-minute match. Slater is sucking wind. Duggan is trying. I wouldn't even blame this on Duggan. I blame this on Slater. We have a ref bump that leads to nothing at all. First time I've ever seen a ref bump and it just lead to nothing. When Slater just shoves the ref and Duggan hits the 4-point stance, and that was it. This was a nothing match. It made the UWF title look like it had been thrown in the garbage, like Medusa threw the WWF Women's title in the trash. I gave it a 1/2 star, and I thought I was being generous with that. It was a long 10 minutes. It was garbage.
It was garbage. You're absolutely right. There's not much more you guys could much more that I could say that you guys didn't. It's just it was surprising because you see Duggan, you kind of expect a little bit, but Slater's known for being a better worker than that, and he just seemed like either he was just not having a good day or he was drunk or something, because he had no stamina whatsoever, and there was just nothing there. It was boring. I have to agree with you, Schiff. I'm gonna go to a 1/2 star on this. I can't give it a full star. Sorry, I just can't.
I must have been in a good mood when I was rating this one.
Yeah, I want whatever you were feeling when you were watching this match, just so I can give it a 1.5
stars. What to do is start your watch with. I was still on a come down from the Fantastic Sheep Herders match, so if you start your watch with that, you'll still be on. I think I still had residual from that. Start it with that, and then 2 matches later, you'll get to this. You'll still be feeling quite good about yourself. And
that's what I should have done, because I was like, oh my god, how bad can this match be? And it was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was.
I think if there's from now on, I think we should start every watch with just the Fantastic Sheep Herders, and then we'll take it from there. If we anticipate a bad match, start off with something good, and then.
So when I see Wahoo McDaniel match on here, I'm just gonna start watching that match and then go from there.
Absolutely. In fact, don't even watch the Wahoo match after that.
Sorry, Sean. This Fantastic match still at 4.5. What was your question?
That was Wahoo dud. Move on. And move on we shall to the highly anticipated one of the few matches that was really heavily talked about on Crockett television in the run up to this. It is the Nature Boy Ric Flair versus the All-American Dream, as Paul Bosch says in the intro, Dusty Rhodes, for the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship. One thing I'll say, as much as this show missed the commentary, at least Paul Bosch wasn't doing the commentary for it, because I'd rather none. The match starts with some tie-ups between the two, and then you get some standard stuff where Flair hits some shoulder blocks and some chops in the corner. Dusty reverses and hits some nice chops of his own, and then does some shucking and jiving, dances about, and then hits an elbow, which the crowd were eating up. Flair then gets into it a bit with Baby Doll, telling her to shut up in a very matter of fact way. Dusty's trying to work the arm, but Flair just gets out of it just with a quick knee to the back to stop it. Not rocket science from Flair at that point, but certainly very effective, because a knee to the back will stop you doing most things. Flair then hits a knee drop to the head and throws Dusty outside. Dusty is busted open after getting put into the ring post. Flair then works the cut with some punches, and then follows up with some chops and a forearm before he misses a knee drop. And Dusty can allow Dusty to take back over by pulling him across to the corner and crotching him on the ring post. There's a usual the visual of blood running down Dusty Rhodes' belly willy is very something. Is certainly a sight to behold. Dusty chops Flair in the corner, but Flair yanks him down to attempt the pinfall with the feet on the ropes. But doesn't get very far, obviously, as we're only about halfway through the match at this point. Dusty gets Flair down and drops an elbow onto Flair's leg. Dusty then gets back up, hits a headbutt, but Flair slows the big man down, with a sleeper hold. Dusty lunges forward to try and escape the sleeper hold, and Flair falls into the turnbuckle, and we get a break. Flair continues to attack, or begins to attack Dusty's leg, which obviously leads into the figure four. Dusty's cut is looking ever worse at this point, but he does manage to reverse the figure four and get out the hold. We then get Flair attempting to he does the spot, which I don't know the technical term for it, but he puts Dusty's leg on the rope and tries to do a flying butt drop, but unfortunately for Flair, he misses the drop. Dusty moves out the way and he hits the mat ass first. Move on, and both are on the outside. Dusty throws Flair into the post twice, and obviously that is now the opportunity for Flair to start bleeding himself. Back in the ring, and Dusty is wailing on Flair with some mounted turnbuckle punches. Flair is thrown into the corner and is then hung upside down, and Dusty keeps scraping his face with his boot, and Flair at this point is an absolute mess. Dusty hits a clothesline for two and then starts to punch away at Flair's cut. Dusty gets a sleeper of his own onto Flair. Dusty hits a suplex for a two. Dusty gets a figure four of his own onto Flair after a clothesline. Dusty can be clearly held yelling shit when Flair gets his shoulder up at two. The one benefit of not having any commentary is you get to hear some of the profanity get thrown about. Dusty stomps and kicks away at Flair's leg. Flair does make it up to the top rope, but in true Flair fashion, is tossed off the rope. Dusty hits a diving tackle, which knocks Flair into Tommy Young, because what is an NWA World Heavyweight Championship match if Tommy Young doesn't end up on his ass at some point? Dusty hits a small package, but of course there's no ref. Flair takes Dusty's boot off him and hits him, pulls Tommy Young in towards the pin, but it's only got a 2 count. Baby Doll's up on the apron with the boot, which causes Flair to attack her. Dusty then grabs the boot and hits Flair with it for the DQ. We've seen this finish before. Dusty leaves with the belt, but obviously it's not his for keeps as we get a DQ finish. Yeah, this one was hyped up for a long time. The pre-match promos that we had on the last episode of TV, sort of gave away the finish. Considering neither man wanted to do the we're never going to do the didn't want to be looking at the lights, and both openly said that. Regardless, I thought it was a good match. I went 3 1/4 on this one. You can Flair Dusty matches we've seen can be very paint by numbers sometimes, but this certainly wasn't one of them. It was a good match for me. So I'll start with Dr. G on this one. What do you think of this one?
I gave it 3 stars. It was good. I mean, I saw so many Dusty Flair matches because that was the feud, and some are better than others. This wasn't bad. This was a pretty good one. The finish, we're kind of used to seeing that. That's just the way it was with those two. But the key thing is, sending the crowd home happy, which, even though he didn't win the title, Dusty was pretty good at doing. You're right. Some of the matches could be like a paint by number type of thing. This wasn't, but you could tell the two had chemistry and they've wrestled each other numerous amount of times. But the crowd loves Dusty. I mean, listen, he was my favorite at that time growing up. I mean, he had the audience in the palm of his hands, and you could see it just by any time he does the bionic elbow or any of the dancing and all that stuff. People really get into that stuff. So. I again, not one of the best I've seen by them, but certainly not. I would give it a good 3 stars. I mean, it was a good match.
Yeah, I can get your point that you've
because the crowd energy will also the crowd was into it. It adds some energy. You could get into it even without any of the other stuff like announcement or anything. So I enjoyed it.
No, I get that completely, and I also get that you've seen many a Flair Dusty title match over the years. So
I was actually ready to kind of rate it harshly, going into it because I don't remember it, from back then. But I don't know. I'm interested to see what Scott says because
given his views on some of the finishes tonight, I am also very much looking forward to seeing what.
Well, the finish, we're definitely not going to be happy with. I mean, that's probably why some of the matches could be rated higher, but I'm not shocked by it because I've seen it so many times. So maybe I'm just numb to it.
I legit thought we were going to see a title change here, and was shocked with that. We didn't see one here. I hate Tommy Young. I have a note that says crap the ref is Tommy Young. I just think he thinks they paid to pay that the fans paid to see him, sort of like Angel Hernandez with baseball, the umpire. They think that he thinks that the fans just paid to see him. This was a hell of a match. I think this is the best match I think we've seen, to be completely honest, because we've seen our fair share of Flair and Rhodes matches, and it had the formula down to a T. I love that both guys were just, dripping blood. I love that, they were both working the figure four, trying to work the figure four on each other. And Flair has to be the best at getting his foot on the ropes at 2 3/4. I've seen it 100 times, but it's still, just when you think it's done, he just drops his foot on the rope, and it's awesome. Dusty got the visual pin with a small package, but no ref. And this is when I was shocked. I thought Dusty was going to hit him with the boot, and it would reverse the decision like next weekend. But no, he gets disqualified. I'm actually the highest, despite the crappy finish. I went 3 1/4 as well. Calum went 3 1/4 as well. So I matched you, Calum.
Excellent. Well, it's not a yes. I mean, it was some matches are ruined by a crappy finish. Some matches are good in spite of it. And I think this is certainly the latter. It was. I wasn't surprised to see that it finished like this, given what they were talking about. I think they were I think there was certainly a hint of truth in what they were saying, that they weren't going to do. They weren't going to job in front of 70,000 people. Neither of them jobbed in front of. Neither of them jobbed, and neither of them did it in front of 70,000 people. To be fair, but yeah, it was a good match nonetheless. So we move on from that. The main event is obviously, as much as the world title match is a big match, the main event of the Crockett Cup is, of course, the Crockett Cup final match. And in this one, you have the number 1 seed Road Warriors against the number 2 seed Magnum TA and Ron Garvin. This is potentially the NWA the NWA equivalent of the All-Star game. This is, you can't think of many other guys you could fit in here. This is 4 guys at the top of their game, and hopefully we're going to get a bit of a banger. A good start to the match with Magnum and Animal doing the crisscross spot, and Animal getting a hip toss in, but TA rebounds himself and gets an arm drag and a drop kick. Magnum then works over Animal's arm and tags in Ronnie. Animal tags in Hawk and then no sells a Garvin chop, which I don't know why you would do that. I think fair play to him if he got a real Ron Garvin chop and still managed to no sell it. The man must be tough as nails. Hawk then beats Garvin up in the corner, and we get a rear chin lock. Hawk hits a nice press slam on Garvin, but then misses a fish drop to follow up, and Garvin then gets up to chop Hawk again, and Magnum comes in, is tagged in, hits a drop kick on Hawk for a 1 count. TA then puts in a face lock, but Hawk lifts him up and takes him into the corner before tagging an Animal, and who then works over Magnum's back and locks in a bear hug. Hawk comes in and hits a gut wrench for a 2, and then an over the shoulder break, an over the shoulder backbreaker, for another 2. There's a boot to the face as Animal comes in and blocks another chin lock as TA is now screaming in pain. Animal gets a 2 count off of a power slam. Magnum working the face in peril again as the Warriors just dissect him. Animal is whipped into the corner and TA hits the belly to belly as he's rebounding, but Hawk breaks up the pin attempt. Animal and Hawk keep Garvin gets tagged in, apologies, and starts chopping away on Hawk, and headbutts both of them. There's a hand of stone punch, but Garvin's obviously still got the hand injury from when Tully attacked him, which allows Hawk to tag Animal, which allows Hawk to tag an Animal. Animal hits in a clothesline, before Magnum comes in and takes the fight to Hawk. Garvin's in and hits the hands of stone punch, but is obviously still reeling from the hand injury that Tully gave him a couple of weeks back. Hawk manages to tag an Animal, who hits the clothesline and the 3. TA and Hawk start fighting a bit, but in the end, the Warriors have won the cup, and they celebrate with Paul Ellering. The Crockett's and Bill Watts join them in the ring, and we get a nice close up of the check for $1 million, which I absolutely 100% guarantee they probably didn't get. The Road Warriors were dominant in this one. TA again played the good face in peril, and it was nice to see that the Garvin hand storyline was played into the end. It was as if Garvin did it out of instinct, or used the hand out of instinct, more than anything, which was a nice one. Yeah, this was excellent. Again, as I say, it's an all-star match with these 4 guys in it. So, yeah, I liked it. I went 3 stars on this one. Everything was just tied together nicely. So who am I going to first on this one? We will go Scott first on this one.
This match was a banger. We finally got a real ending. Oh my god, I loved it. I love that Garvin was just chopping the hell out of Hawk, and like Hawk just had to take it because you're not going to tell Garvin to stop. And we saw how vicious the Road Warriors can be, which was pretty impressive because this was babyface versus babyface. It's when TA he was like in the second in the middle corner, and like his back was facing Hawk Animal. And Animal was just kicking the hell out of TA, and TA was selling it like death. I was shocked at how much over the Road Warriors were, like how they just ran the whole match, which I loved. TA actually hits the belly to belly, but Hawk broke up the pin. I thought that was nice as well. And then Garvin gets the punch, as you said, and then he can't because he hurt his hand, and that's the end. Like, oh my god, like Road Warriors won. I really thought this was going to be TA and Ronnie Garvin. This was a nice surprise. I went 3 stars. This match was a banger. And, for all those people that sat through the Crockett Cup, the last couple matches really delivered, even if, we got some non-finishes. I would have just skipped the first show and went to the second one, personally.
Yeah, I agree with you. I didn't mention that, but yeah, it was a very... it was a shock to see to see the Road Warriors. I mean, I know the Road Warriors were number 1 seeds, but they had Magnum T and Ron Garvin in there. I thought they were definitely going to be the ones to take it. Dr. G, what are your thoughts?
We're really kind of on the mark with each other. I went 3 stars too. I really enjoyed it. It was neat to see those two teams work together, especially they're both really, I guess, for all intents and purposes, face teams. Obviously, the Warriors, but the Warriors showed some viciousness in this, and I agree with you, Scott, with Ronnie Garvin. Ronnie Garvin's a tough son of a bitch, let me tell you. And he wasn't backing down, and he went right at Hawk, which is great. And I think Hawk enjoyed that, actually. Sick to say, but that's just the way he is. And like you said, got a definitive finish. The second day was much worth it. Even with some of the non-finishes, but some of these matches towards the end were really good. And I remember this because I had this poster in my room for many years of the Road Warriors won the Crockett Cup. So I'm glad that I got to see it now again, because I think I saw it years and years ago, this match, but seeing it through different eyes, I really, really enjoyed it. And nice way to end off the first Crockett Cup.
Definitely. Overall, I think the tournament has been a success. I know you're not a huge tournament guy, Dr. G, but I think there's hopefully been. I do like a tournament every now and again, especially if you're getting some of the matches of the quality that we've had. And as you say, a nice way to put a bow on the whole thing. Certainly think they should probably do a Crockett Cup in 1987, but that remains to be seen. So that rounds off the Crockett Cup. But we, as we said in the last one, the last episode, we are going to head back to the WrestleRock 86 show. We're heading back to Minneapolis, and for a couple of matches again. A couple of tag matches for to round off the show in our territory spotlight. So the first one is a match pitting Buddy Rose and Doug Summers against a team. I don't know if either you heard of them, the Midnight Rockers. Apparently one of them turns out to be quite good eventually.
Don't think I've ever heard of them.
No, it's first time. Yeah. First time I've heard of them as well, but apparently one of them turns out to be quite good.
Yeah, the Genetti fellow, I think.
Yeah, I think it was him. Yeah, certainly overshadowed his tag partner. So these two teams as the year progresses, end up having a great feud over the AWA tag titles. There's one in particular that is on the only match that I didn't have in the GWWE. The only match from the Shawn Michaels from the Vault DVD that I didn't have on the GWWE one is a match that they have in, I believe it's August time. That is a very much like the fantastic Sheep Herders match. It's just a bloody brawl. And hopefully, if Sean, when you're listening back to this, if you can pencil that in for a territory spotlight for August time, I would be very, very appreciative of it. So yeah, you're seeing the early stages of this feud here. It became very apparent to me as well. I think we mentioned it in the last episode. The setup of the stadium was very strange because it looked as if there was, I think in this one there is about 25 to maybe 30,000 people, but the stadium looked empty because they didn't group anybody together. So it was very, very strange. Rose takes umbrage to the announcer saying he is 271 pounds. He actually weighs 217. So the blow-away diet's obviously working very well for him. Sherry is also offended that she's been called a valet. She prefers to be called a manageress. And if you are going to try and tell Sherry Martel otherwise, good luck to you. So they start off and Rose is doing one-handed push-ups, which Marty does in return. Shawn Michaels is then in and does a backflip and wants Buddy Rose to do that to prove that he's 217 pounds. The Buddy Rose goes up top but loses his balance to get a quick laugh from the crowd. It's just all this sort of thing to start to get the crowd on side before the real stuff starts. The real stuff does start with Sean and Doug Summers in multiple arm drags from Michaels to Doug Summers and hits him with a drop kick before Buddy's tagged back in. Only to be on the receiving end of an arm drag himself. Marty's then tagged in and is about to be hip tossed, but reverses it into a body slam and then begins to work the arm. He does the same to Doug Summers when he's tagged in, and Doug Summers hits the ring post on a charge. The Rockers then pull off some double team moves. Summers falls into the corner and gets and tags in Rose to bail out and get some respite. Rose comes in and does a cartwheel to avoid a monkey flip and then struts in, sort of giving himself the good old Barry Horowitz pat in the back for that one. But Marty does the same to him. So more tit for tat action from the two teams here. Into the corner now, and Buddy goes to hit Marty, but Marty ducks out the way, and Buddy clocks Summers. Finally, Rose managed to get the upper hand with a slingshot to Sean, who's tagged in. He slingshots him into a Doug Summers forearm, and Summers and Rose take over. Michaels tries to fight back, but the heels go back and forth on hitting him and take turns over working on him. Buddy hits a jumping elbow smash, and Summers ends up getting a 2 off of a suplex. Michaels reversed another suplex attempt into the hot tag, and Jannetty comes in, taking on both men. With a backdrop to Summers, then hits a flying elbow and a power slam for a 3 count, but the foot was on the rope, put there by Sherry. So the more poor refereeing, the poor refereeing pandemic has continues to sweep the nation. It's not just Tommy Young that seems to be the one doing it. It all breaks down. All four are in the ring fighting. There's a double atomic drop which sends Rose through the ropes. There's a double backdrop and elbow to Doug Summers. Marty heads up top, but Rose knocks him off quite savagely, actually. Michaels goes after Rose, but Summers gets the three with his foot on the rope. Gets a quick three there to finish to end the match. Michaels extracts some revenge with a body slam to Rose on the outside, and Marty and Doug Summers continue to fight. A nice kick-off to the feud that these two would have. You can see that there is chemistry between them. Buddy Rose is sort of his talent outweighs he's punching above his weight, really, when it comes to talent, and it's quite no pun intended, given the fact that he is carrying a bit of extra girth. But you can see why the AWA sort of strapped the rocket to these two teams to have the big tag feud through the summer. 3 stars for me. I would quite like to see more of these two in the territory spotlights as we go through the summer. But I'll start with Dr. G. What are your thoughts on this one? As I will just take a back seat. You're probably sick of hearing me try to run through that match.
Listen, it was a good match. I mean, I like watching the Rockers back then. I mean, it was one of those things, people thought they were a Rock and Roll Express ripoff, but in the ring, they gave, I would say they would give Rock and Roll a run for their money. I mean, obviously, we look at what Shawn Michaels turned out to be. Rose and Summers, Rose has been around for many, many years. He's just an old pro. He is what he is, but I gave the match 2.5 stars.
All right, that's fair. Chef, what are your thoughts?
I love this match. I went 3 as well. I love how you brought up the cartwheels. I was laughing so hard when Rose was like hitting cartwheels, and the announcer even said like, "Oh, they say it's 271. He said he was 217. I'm gonna say he's 247 because that's nice in the middle." It's like, damn. And Sean with his Ricky Steamboat-esque like arm drags was really nice. I was shocked at how much the Rockers got in, and I was shocked by the finish that Rose and Summers won, and I definitely want to see more of that. I've heard about their feud, Calum, so I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, I think that without knowing too much else, I think this is certainly attributed to a reason why the AWA was still watchable at some points in the mid '80s. The match that I was talking about earlier is so far removed from what you think the AWA would be. I'm putting it on record that I would like to watch that one when it comes round. So Sean, do your stuff please on that one, because there is certainly better stuff from these two teams as well. So we finally come to the end of the Crockett Cup weekend. They say so. WrestleRock was the day after the Crockett Cup, so all of this happened within a 24-hour stretch. So again, still at WrestleRock, our last match of the episode is the Road Warriors against the Freebirds in a cage match. So this is the culmination of a feud which we've seen a couple of steps along the way. We saw the Freebirds and the Road Warriors at the Comiskey Park show from 1985, and we also saw the Road Warriors lose the AWA tag titles to Jimmy Garvin and Mr. Electricity Steven Regal because of the Freebirds before they made their transition to Crockett. So this is sort of the blow off to all that for what must be coming up for close to a year's worth of a feud. The video that we watched cut right to them inside the cage. The Rontron guard is still determined to call them the Hawk and the Animal of the Road Warriors, but we'll just avoid that. We'll start off. Hayes quickly gets a pile driver on Hawk, who obviously no sells, and starts to pummel Michael Hayes and throws him into the cage. And Michael Hayes starts bleeding. He then press slams Hayes, and Hawk has him all over the cage. Garvin refuses to tag in. I forgot to say it's Jimmy Garvin and Michael Hayes on this one. Hawk and Hayes tie up. Are up in the top rope, and Hawk throws Hayes down to the ground. A headbutt by Animal from the outside, and Hawk hits a splash from the top. Michael Hayes finally manages to sneak a tag and get some respite, but Hawk just keeps going on the assault, dropping an over the shoulder backbreaker again. Animal hits a power slam and does some nice push-up press slam. Hayes will not tag back into the match. He finally does get some action in. It does Michael Hayes, but is met with an Animal elbow, and Hawk comes back in, and he then begins to work the cut. Michael Hayes hits an axe handle, and then locks in a figure four to Hawk, who reverses it. The heels tag in and out, working over Hawk until Hawk gets a hot tag to Animal. The match then breaks down. The ref goes to get Hawk back into the corner when Hayes goes into the tights for a foreign object, goes to top rope as Garvin's holding Animal. Hayes jumps, Animal moves out the way, and Hayes hits his tag team partner. Animal then we then get a cover and a pinfall. Hawk tosses Hayes into the cage once again after the match, grabs the foreign object and hits him with it on multiple occasions. Another fun tag match just to finish off the proceedings for the episode. Finally closes. It's a nice closing chapter for the Road Warriors in the AWA, and the Road Warriors have had a fine couple of days on the road for that weekend. So 3 stars for me on this one, and we'll go to Schiff to close this one out.
Yeah, I did like how Hayes and Garvin, they were both refused to tag in at certain points because they didn't want to get their ass beat by the Road Warriors. So that was nice. And then Hayes hit Garvin by accident, which, it's just pretty interesting because I thought they were the Freebirds later on. I didn't realize they were sort of part of the Freebirds now, or at least some affiliation. This was basically all Road Warriors for the most part. Besides a little bit of Hayes getting the figure 4 on Hawk. I went I wasn't that blown away with it like you were. I went 2 1/4. I don't know. I guess I was just expecting more, but we got what we got with this.
Yeah, I think it was the Road Warriors just. I think it was just all about getting the Road Warriors getting their final comeuppance, and just not getting the Freebirds just were there trying to not trying their best to avoid serious injury, which is not the easiest when the Road Warriors are there, but they were just trying to survive more than anything else. Dr. G, what are your thoughts on this final match?
I agree with Scott on this, and the fact that I expected a little bit more, but I mean, of course I love when the Road Warriors are the Road Warriors, but I thought there could be a little bit more to this. I liked the way that, like you said, Hayes and Garvin, they didn't want to tag in, and all that psychological stuff that especially Michael Hayes is very good at. But you can't play the Road Warriors were hot at this time, so they were going to get their due. But it would have been nice to see a little bit longer of a match where the Freebirds got a little bit more offense and just to make it a good match, And I understand, like, I love seeing the Road Warriors dominant, but Terry Garvin's a pretty big guy. It's not like you're going against a really small team. This is a team that could give the Road Warriors a run for their money.
It was. I completely see where you guys are going from. I think I might have just been a bit. I think I've put too much emphasis or too much weighting on the Freebirds stooging around. But I was just on a Road Warriors high after these last couple of episodes.
Hey, I love the Road Warriors just as much as anyone, so I have no problem with that.
Yeah, so that is that for the Crockett Cup. I was going to say the month of April. We do still have one more episode to do on the month of April, which you'll get in a couple of weeks' time. So there's not much that we can really do by way of awards for the last two episodes, given they were all quite match heavy. We'll start off. We'll just do it off the cuff. So I think the match of the month. I don't think we're in any doubt, or maybe we are. I certainly think it would be the Sheep Herders against the Fantastics.
No doubt.
Correct.
There's certainly a few up there for worst match of the month, but I'll go with Team UWF against the Russians.
I'm gonna go Duggan versus Dick Slater.
That's also a very good choice.
Yeah, it's tough because the other one we couldn't really rate per se because it was just so short. So.
Oh the Midnight Express one, and
okay, right. I'm confused a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what? I think I'm gonna agree with Scott with the Duggan match just because I expected a little bit more from that. Yes, I know it's Jim Duggan and all that, but and it wasn't really all his fault. I expected a little bit more from Dick Slater.
No, that's fair. Yeah, that was quite a disappointing one as well. And MVP of the month. I would go.
I'm going with the Fantastics.
I was going to go with the Fantastics as well.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
But certainly there was a lot of candidates for those.
I can't argue with the Fantastics. I guess I was going more for the Road Warriors winning the Cup itself, but I guess probably the Fantastics had those two matches that were good. You know what? I think you guys gave me. I think I'm going to go Fantastic.
And then rounding off LVP, I think I would need to go Dick Slater on that one.
Yes, Dick Slater, very easily. Also, Giant Baba, maybe runner-up, but that's.
Honourable mention accepted for Giant Baba, absolutely. But all in all, I think there was certainly more good than bad, and that's all we can ask. We had some excellent stuff. As the excellent stuff was a lot better than the bad stuff was awful. So, a nice way to round off the Crockett Cup, I feel. So that's us for another episode. Dr. G, what have you got coming up for us?
Oh, that's the NWA Saturday Special, dropping every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Occasionally we have some schedule issues, and it'll be on Sunday, but mostly it's on Saturdays. We break down the new or the current NWA under William Patrick Corrigan, and Got a pay-per-view coming up in June that was just announced. So we got some great stuff going on. So make sure you tune in every week. We appreciate all the support we've been getting, especially with the NWA and even the NWA Twitches that you host, Calum, which has been really phenomenal. So there's definitely a market out there for it, and we appreciate everyone hopping on board every Saturday morning. Have your coffee and you listen to us, and we break it down usually in about an hour, and then you get on with your day.
Yeah, the NWA Twitches are always a good time. And as this one comes out, the pay-per-view that was just announced today, as we're recording it, Dr. G's just mentioned. If you please follow on Twitter at PTBN YouTube, or at PTBN YouTube, and you'll be able to find all the information there. Chances are we'll be doing, the chances are very likely that we'll be doing a Twitch for that one as well, because the NWA shows are always very good. You always get excellent value for money, I feel, on the NWA shows. The Crockett Cup last month was a bit of a steal, and that's in the archives as well on YouTube if you want to go and hear the 2 nights of that. Schiff, what have you got coming up or recently done for the good people's listening pleasure?
Just check out Pop Goes to the Couch for Moon Knight. We got that taken care of. We'll hit up Doctor Strange as well when that drops. So yeah, just check it out. Getting fast and furious with the MCU, and we have Obi-Wan dropping at the end of May. So yeah, go ahead and check it out. And that can be found on Twitter at Scott_Shiflet.
Excellent. Constantly pumping out some excellent stuff on the Pop Experience feed. If you're listening to something on the Pop Experience, chances are Schiff's got a hand in it. Excellent stuff. Continue to get put out on that feed. For me, the special relations with Ben and Rory, that you'll have, if my timing is correct, you'll have one more episode of that for the summer before we go on a brief hiatus, because Rory is away to do some real life things. Myself and Ben are going to fill the gap, so you won't be without content from this side of the pond, but we'll be without the podcast legend for a couple episodes over the summer. I'm also one of the voices on PTBN's Pedestal. The May one should be with you, which I am penciled in for. But if you don't hear me on that one, it is going to be an absolute. It's a great match. That the guys, whoever ends up doing it, are going to be covering. And as I said, the Twitch feeds and all the live stream stuff can be found anywhere you get your live streams. Twitch.tv/Place to Be Nation. If you search Place to Be Nation, all one word, on YouTube, and Facebook.com/PTBN Live. As Dr. G said, we do the pay-per-view live watches, and in a couple of weeks' time there will be an NWA pay-per-view coming up. I think in the month of June, on 4 straight weekends, there is a WWE show, then NWA, then Impact, and then AEW. So a lot of stuff should be coming your way on that one. So yeah, that is everything from us for this episode. We'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. We will round out episode 43 coming up in a couple of weeks' time. We'll round out April of 1986 television as we go head first. Looking forward into the summer, as we I believe the start of May will take us on the road to the Great American Bash Tour of 1986. So the good stuff just keeps coming. But until then, we'll see you in 2 weeks for episode 43.